You throw over $1,000 a month into local wishing wells.
Of course, you idiot, because I'm wishing for more money.
This is the Keeping Your Money Show with Jamie Westenberger and Bart Steinler.
All right, welcome back to the Keep Your Money Show. Jamie Westenberger, joined as always by Bart Steinler. If you're just tuning in, we were talking about some changes that may be coming to 401k and IRA plans. Hopefully, we'll see some of those come to fruition. I mean, the retirement laws in this country, first of all, are about as archaic as it's possible to get. You know, the government bemoans all the time that so many people aren't prepared for retirement, but then they make it about as difficult as possible for people to even know what they can contribute to, you know?
Right.
So they're ridiculously complicated. And on top of that, they're way behind. I mean, when we see increases in 401ks or IRAs, it's like a couple $100 change when, you know, people need to be saving way more than they're saving, and we sure aren't making it very easy for them.
I think if you look back a few generations when a lot more people had pensions, and the 401k and the IRA was the idea that this is going to be what you have instead of a pension, but the end result is not coming out quite as well as a pension was coming out.
Right.
And so, you know, for some people that were disciplined and were smart about it and kept contributing and kept raising the amount that they contributed to, possibly it's coming out as good as a pension. But for a lot of people, you know, the pension was something that, you know, they knew they'd have a certain amount coming when they retired, providing the people managing the pension didn't screw it up.
I would almost like to see, and we're totally off subject about what we're supposed to talk about this segment, but I would almost like to see the automatic enrollment of 401ks kind of like it used to be for automatic enrollment in pensions. Like people think about pensions as something a company gave you, but it was worked into the equation when they offered you your job, right? So I'd almost like to see we get back to that a little bit more of, you know, okay, we're going to offer you this job. Your salary is going to be $65,000, but we know you need to be putting $15,000 into your 401k. So our offer is, you know, $15,000 plus we'll match 6% and your salary's $50,000. You know, it almost should kind of come back to that way of thinking because it really is so important that people put enough away, and so many people aren't doing it, you know?
Right.
So
it also has to be portable too.
It does, absolutely. All right, so let's talk about the first step in that equation, and that's college. If you listen to the show here on the Keeping Your Money Show, you know for a long time we have been bemoaning this insanity of high amounts of student loan debt for sometimes jobs that aren't even available. We've talked about the needs for skilled trades jobs because they actually are returning on investment and giving people good incomes and good careers, and some of them even pensions. And we've consistently kind of screamed at the colleges and universities because, let's face it, we think they're doing a poor job. They're bringing in people many times who shouldn't even be going to college simply because they've sold them on the idea. They take their money, they rack up huge student loan debt, and then us, the taxpayers, are on the hook because those are government-backed loans, and the university, which is getting money from us, the taxpayers, has absolutely no skin in the game. If the person never goes and gets a job in their chosen field, you know, there's not a university out there that cares.
And they also don't care if the tuition bills keep going up and up because, you know, they're almost guaranteed that other people are going to pay for it, you know?
Right.
It's like, you know, if you go shopping and you're shopping with your own money, or if you go shopping and you know somebody else is going to be paying for everything, it's kind of different how you're looking at that.
It's like when my kids take their own money or they take my credit card. It's amazing how much more they pay.
Yeah, no kidding.
So Norwich University announced the other day that they are going to join what's nearly 30 public and private colleges, which was surprising to me. I don't think this is being talked about enough to realize this is the case. Now, most of them are in limited fields right now. They're trying to, you know, pilot it in limited fields. But what they're doing is they're saying, okay, there is no tuition. You're not paying for school. If you qualify, you come, we pay for everything. But when you graduate with your degree, you are going to pay us a percentage of your salary for a set amount of years to basically compensate us back for the education we provided to you. I think that is a phenomenal idea. Phenomenal idea.
It is.
Because now everyone has skin in the game. Now the university is not just taking anyone who sends in an application and happens to pass the ACT or whatever. They're actually talking to the students to see if, is this a good fit for you? Are you really somebody who should be in our pilot program? Or, because they need to know, because that's how they're going to get paid for the education they're providing.
Right.
I mean, I think it's a great idea.
And the teachers have got to be, really serious, and the students have to be serious about making this work, because the students are getting a huge benefit out of there. Just think, if you want to go start college, you either have to get a whole bunch of student loans, or you have to have saved up, maybe $20,000 or $30,000 a year for, tuition, room, and board. Some places even more than that. Or you have to have parents or some other benefactor who is going to put that money in for you. That's not easy to come by. But here you can go and you can start, without having the big down payment or the big loan. You can work your way through school. It doesn't have to be, and in this article it said this is working well for people that want to work and get their education at the same time, and maybe instead of 4 years, they're taking 6 years to get their degree. Then they come out, the school is invested, and they're invested in trying to find a good job for that person.
And the interesting thing that I saw too is, like one of the people they highlight did this through Purdue, because Purdue rolled out a program similar to this in their pilot program, professional flight school program. And this gentleman, Andrew Hoyler, 22, graduated from Purdue with his degree in professional flight, wants to become a professional pilot. He now works as a pilot for American Airlines regional carrier. He says one of the biggest pros of that is when you come out as a new pilot, you don't make a lot of money. It takes time to, of course, build up your experience and what aircraft you can fly and those types of things. So this was a good opportunity for him to not have tons of student debt hanging over his head, knowing that he'll make more money later on in his career. The one thing that immediately jumped out to me about this that I think is one of the biggest problems with the federal student loan program is this statement: but because employment and salary determine the repayment, it's possible providers could be seen as discriminating against recipients who choose lower paying professions. Well, I guess I would argue if you're choosing a lower paying profession, one would question why you need the same amount of education.
Yep.
I mean, a pilot starting out only makes about $40,000 a year. I don't think that's a huge amount of money. I don't think there should be really any job that you get a degree for that you should be making less than that. And if you are making less than that, I guess that's a decision as a student you have to be making for yourself on whether this makes sense or not to spend this kind of money. And if it does, maybe it's at a cheaper school.
Right. I don't think it is society's obligation to pay to educate you for whatever you want.
Right.
If there's no return to society.
Right. If you want to be an art major, be an art major. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think you should have $120,000 of student loans from the University of Chicago that are all backed by the federal government and us, the taxpayer, because you want to be an art major. I don't think that makes sense.
Right. And you can learn a lot about art history and a lot about art as a business without getting a degree.
Or maybe if that's the degree you want, we look at this from a common sense standpoint and say, 2 years at GRCC would be a good start to that, because that's going to be a heck of a lot cheaper than, some major university that I can get this program in.
Right.
So, but anyways, great idea. Love to see the creativity of it and hope we continue to see more of this, where instead of colleges just asking for more tax dollars, they start to come up with ways to actually help create workers that can go out with and get careers that then can contribute back to society. All right, we're going to coming up, we're going to talk about how good financial habits may not make you rich. Here's what will, right here on the Keep Your Money Show.
The ups and downs of a roller coaster are fun for some people, but maybe too nerve-wracking for others. The same is true for the ups and downs of the stock market. If your palms sweat when the market fluctuates, it may be time to reevaluate your investment choices. The ride to your financial future shouldn't keep you awake at night. Call the Keeping Your Money Show at 1-888-98-MONEY to get off the roller coaster and onto solid ground.
Hey, this is Jamie Westerbarger with Keeping Your Money Show. You hear me every week talking about money, and one of the things that money can do is wonderful things when you commit it to the right place. I've got Bridget Clark-Whitney with me from Kids Food Basket, an organization that we commit a lot of time and resources to because it's just, how can you ever dispute the need to feed children? Bridget, in a few words, tell us about Kids Food Basket.
Yeah, thank you. Well, first off, we're so grateful for our partnership with Forest Hills Financial. You guys are amazing advocates of our work, and it's because of these kinds of partnerships that we are able to feed kids every day. Currently, we feed 8,000 children here in Kent County, Muskegon County, and Ottawa, and feeding kids a healthy, nourishing meal at the end of the day. Because poverty is very complex, but feeding a child is not. And this work is making extraordinary impact, transforming classrooms. You know, we can't have a strong West Michigan without strong kids, so we need as many people to get involved as possible.
Awesome. Well, check them out at kidsfoodbasket.org. That's kidsfoodbasket.org, or you can find them with a link through our website at keepingyourmoney.com. Thanks, Bridget.
Thank you.